Welcome back to episode 12. Mixed emotions on the panel tonight. We got Jude, the Chelsea fan, Barlin and Sal, the United fans, and of course, Von representing Liverpool tonight, and I'll be representing Arsenal. Let's kick off stocks rising and falling, the usual format. Big shout out, Von. Rising became midfielder of the game week. It's in decent returns for investors, fair to say, Von. We'll get to Liverpool in a moment. Actually, why don't we come to you for stocks rising? I'm going to guess it's a Liverpool related.
Okay, I really try hard not to stock rise my own team just for the piece. So as much as I do want to back Ryan and Hugo this week, I'm going to give my stocks rising to Fulham.
You got my...
Oh,
nice.
We're on the same page here. I just think they performed really well despite going a goal down and coming back to clinch the win so dominatingly. I don't know what the right grammar for that is. But I was just really, really impressed with the way that they played. Harry Wilson, old Liverpool boy, getting in on the scoreline doesn't hurt either.
What do you think?
You always like to find these Liverpool links. And they played Brentford, and maybe my heart is sore with the Liverpool boys there. I think they went to the club with Thomas Frank as their coach. They bought into that idea, and he was snatched away. That's why I think they're not doing well as they are. But take away nothing from Fulham. I think that they performed really, really well. And yeah, that's my stocks rising.
Can't disagree with that. I'm going to have to think of something. Jude, what's your stocks rising this week?
My stocks rising is Arsenal. When the season kind of kicked off, there's this kind of perception about Arsenal and that they are going to struggle like this, or not struggle watching the game against Man City. Pep respects Arsenal. It's been like that in the past couple of games where Pep Guardiola is very fearful of Arsenal. I don't think I gave Arsenal enough credit for the way they play and set up. It was, an unfortunate result, but we'll get into that when we speak about it.
Stocks rising on this show when it's not coming from me. So what are we thinking?
Yeah, honestly, it's unfortunate. I'm hearing chatter. He suffered a major injury now, but I didn't know this guy was that good. I guess I didn't pay too much attention to him when he was at Chelsea.
Neither did I.
He was always just looking to make something happen. You know, anytime they looked at threat on the attack, he was on the ball, getting into threatening positions, winning the corners. And, I know, Tim, you said a couple of times while we were conversing during the game, it needs to count as well. But, we speak about how, like what Jude said now about the fear Pep had. I think Madueke played a major role in that fear growing throughout the game. And he was very, very influential in the way Arsenal played. And I was very impressed. Definitely stocks rising.
And Barlin, end us off.
I'm skeptical to mention mine because the opposition is terrible. But who would have thought in 2025 you'd be seeing Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the score sheet? My stocks.
We'll leave it right to the point.
Wow.
While we wait for Barlin to come back and stabilize, we're going to move to sponsor pulling.
I see his eyes moving.
Am I back?
Yeah.
You're back. Hit us with the rest of your stocks rising there. Calvert-Lewin, yeah?
In 2025, DCL getting on the score sheet. I know the opposition is terrible. Wolves are a bad team right now, but you still got to do the job. Leeds coming back into the Premier League and winning away from home 3-1. I still think that's a bit impressive.
Yeah, I agree with you there. My stocks rising was going to be Leeds/Fulham on the paper. So with Fulham scratched out by Von and Barlin having stolen the headline from Leeds, I'm now in a position where there's nothing interesting to say on either of them, really. But that was my half and half. I was going to invest half my money in Leeds and half my money in Fulham, which takes me to, because Fulham takes me to my stocks falling, which is Brentford. Brentford look bad, and they look bad against everybody. So my stocks falling for this week is definitely Brentford. I'm a bit worried for them. The relegated teams last season were very clear very early on who they were going to be. This season, the promoted clubs look better. The teams that could cruise over the last couple of years can't cruise this year. Brentford need to be a bit careful. basically. Alan, what's your thoughts?
Going back to Brentford, you'll only know if they're bad if they lose to United. Then we know that they're bad or good. But I mean, Chelsea, you're bad. Stop fooling Chelsea, man. Honestly, it was a bit of a blunder of a game. Maresca went into a panic, took off Neto, and I understood the Esteval one. But when I saw Neto coming off and then Palmer coming off, and I'm hoping that's an injury. But to kind of just see the way Maresca folded 5-6 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
Just like that.
I agree with you, Balin.
He's so clinical with his assessments. He gets to the point and exits. Thank you, Balin. That was a sterling contribution. Judy, your stock falling?
Not that I had many stocks in what I'm about to say anyway, but it's specifically Chelsea's goalkeeping department. Robert Sanchez, I don't even have words. Like I try and not swear on podcasts and when we're recording things, and I'm trying hard not to now, but like decision making poor. Jorgensen came on. That second goal irritated me because the ball was in the air for so long. I genuinely think he doesn't know he can use his hands. If you put your hands like this, like you're taller than everyone. And if you jump, it's like, anyway, Chelsea's goalkeeping department. I'll get more in depth when we speak about the game.
Sal, where are you taking and running your money?
Funny enough, I didn't prepare a stocks falling this weekend. I wanted to say Chelsea's goalkeeping department, but I knew Jude was going to do it. I don't know if it's because of FPL, but Ollie Watkins, man, come on, guys. It's a joke now. I just feel the expectations placed on this guy and what he's shown us. I know Villa at the moment is a shambles, everything, the way that Emery's setting up and everything, but it's like, still, man, I just find it super, super disappointing. I wanted to go in that direction. I had a couple others that I was thinking of now, but I think I'm going to stick to that. Just Aston Villa whole. It's just quarterfinalists in the Champions League last season, man. The fall off is insane. And, you know, like I look at Newcastle, for example, and okay, they didn't play in the Champions League last season, but they managed to get back into it 2 seasons after being there before. Like they kind of keeping up with being in that fight, being challenging as a big 6 team, and Villa just to follow up their season last season, super disappointing. So Watkins and Villa as a whole.
Where are you at?
And look, I initially went into today's podcast with Enzo as my stocks falling. I think he was the reason Chelsea fell apart. The red card forced him to change tactics a bit, but to make so many changes so early on and so soon after each other, you don't actually give your team time to sort of settle. And I think the red card happening so early, they could have made one change to get a new goalkeeper on, but then settling the team, reading the play a little bit more, and then making the changes. So that was originally my stocks falling. But I also think I need to give a shout out to the scheduling department of games, because don't come for me, Arsenal fans. I played international breaks and did first kickoff on a Saturday. I find it unfair that, and I know everyone needs to talk to each other, but the fact that Arsenal played on Tuesday and City played on Thursday night, Arsenal had like 2 extra days to recover and then play at home against City. So I'm not saying that that's a reason why the game ended up the way it did. I just think it's a little unfair, and I think that maybe there's better ways of scheduling games like that, especially expecting City to travel all the way to London and then after everything. So yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. So we got our stocks falling and stocks rising done. So we might as well jump right into it. Liverpool probably are the headline for the game week in the sense that perfect start. Liverpool's perfect start is probably the first theme. Von, interested in how you saw the game. I think the predictions ahead of it felt that it was maybe going to be a bit of a closer Merseyside derby. Not to say that the second half didn't have its moments after Everton Everton scored, but I don't know about you, but I felt like you held them at arm's length the moment they scored their first goal. It never really felt like it was going to be a 2-2, in my opinion anyway. But Vaughn is eager to see how you saw that game.
I agree with you. I felt like derby is the derby. I mean, it's a Merseyside derby. It's one of the biggest derbies in the world. But I didn't feel like this one had its teeth baring for either Everton or Liverpool. It was kind of
No
like,
bite.
yeah. And I mean, yes, I'm happy that they weren't brawls, but I mean, we all like it when it happens. No one wants to get red cards and be sent off and whatever. And I don't know if because of Diego Simeone getting a red card towards the end of the Atletico Madrid game, like it calmed things down when he ended up getting into a fight with one of the fans. And like already the eyes are on Anfield. I think David Moyes went into this assuming they were going to lose. When they went 2 goals down and they came back to 2-1, they played for that. Like, oh, we scored a goal at Anfield and that's it. There were parts I saw in the Atletico Madrid game that I didn't see in the Everton game. But in that Atletico Madrid game, I could see the vision of how this team, when things start clicking, what's going to work. There were moments of brilliance, which I didn't see follow through to the Everton game. Champions League versus a derby game in the Premier League is 2 very different beasts. Liverpool dominated this game and never let it go. There was a little bit of tussle here and there between Virgil and Tchaikovsky, which I thought was quite nice. The little slapping and then Virgil sticking his tongue out. I agree with David Moyes and Jack. There should have been more added time. 4 minutes would have been sufficient as opposed to 3 minutes. I don't know why there was only 3 minutes, but yeah, comfortable at the end. No late winner, but still good. I take the 3 points and top of the log.
What do you think about the fact Ekitike started over Isak and scored and looked really good again?
I didn't think Isak was going to start. I'm glad that he got some minutes, and Slot was really impressed with his match fitness coming out of the Atletico game. He probably won't play tomorrow against Southampton or tonight when you guys are listening to this game against Southampton. Maybe he'll get a few minutes in, but I think he's playing younger boys in the game. Hugo is giving Isak a run for his money for that number 9 spot. I like to see players fighting for their position. Both Isak and Florine started on the bench, regardless of how much we paid for them. It shouldn't matter how much money we pay. You need to earn your spot. Both are struggling with fitness. Both of them are struggling to get back into the Premier League style of football. And like Isak hasn't really had a preseason, so we're treating this as his preseason. He was one of the only ones that were cooling down afterwards to try and up his minutes, his running minutes. Flo is not flowing into the Premier League as nicely as we would want him to. But in the Atletico game, in Champions League, I saw it. It was this moment where I was like, oh, it's there. I think they needed more minutes, more time. Mo has spoken about why he's not hitting his numbers. And it's exactly what we're saying. He's not. When he played with Darwin and when he played with Lucho, Diego, and Cody, he would cross those balls in because he knew exactly where they were going to be. Now he's got new boys with him. So they don't know how to read his game as well as yet. He doesn't know how to read their game as well as yet. So it just needs time before everything clicks. Once it does, well, it's going to be good.
I don't want it to click any more than it has. There we go.
There was a celebration this player made against Arsenal where he went like that and it clicked. If you get what I'm saying. Dominic celebrated after his free kick with the Thanos click.
I was going to pretend I knew what was going on, but I realized people would call me out because they could see the expression of Team, Jude, Barlin, Sal, anything from your side on the Liverpool game? Any hot takes?
I don't have any hot takes. I think it's good what's happening to me recently. I'm a football fan first. I have a lot of respect for good teams and players, but I really hate Liverpool. And I respected them a lot under Klopp, but the hatred, and I think it's Siobhan, to be honest. I really think since we've started this thing with Siobhan, I think it's made me hate Liverpool so much. And I love it because I feel like I'm back in school when I hated every club that was in my So thank you, Siobhan.
Welcome.
I needed to be reminded I hate this club. Every single thing going in Liverpool's favor pisses me off. So those three minutes of added time shot me up the wall. I was like, cool. And Jack Grealish gave an interview after the game. It was the most intelligent I've ever heard Jack Grealish speak ever. The most sense he's ever made speaking in front of a microphone. Jack Grealish can see this. then there's definitely a problem. There's definitely a problem, right? The yellow cards were taking a free kick quickly.
Agree.
The added time thing, oh my gosh, pissed me off. But at the end of the day, winners win, and that's what they're doing. So I still stick by what I've been saying the entire season. They don't look the same. Siobhan, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. Like Salah wasn't. It's not as simple as just being the same player when the entire dynamic of the team changes, right? Like I do understand, and the players that have changed were playing close. I get it. I watched the last episode and I heard what Linde said about the fact that Salah is at the end of the day the talisman, right? And you'd expect a certain level of football to be played.
The man turned 3 defenders and scored.
Yeah, look, man, it's Mo Salah, right? I think if anything, let's take a compliment out of the amount of criticism that we're giving Mo Salah, because he can take down 3 defenders, defend from assist from a deflected free kick, and get his number on the boards. But we've seen what this guy is capable of, right?
And Ryan was
Yeah.
that
I'm just saying, I like Mo Salah for a lot of reasons. The fact that he's African represents us as a continent, and a lot of the things that he stands for as well, right? I resonate with a lot of things around Mo Salah. But again, that's why I say it's a compliment. There's a level that I expect of a player of that quality who has showcased that quality over the last few years. So it sucks as well to see, as somebody who rates him very highly. But I'm sure he'll fix up down the line of the season. Was very proud to see Flo Wirtz benched. I think it was a smart decision. If there is a player in that squad that I actually do like, it's Ekitike, I must say. I agree with Siobhan. He is going to give Isak a run for his money. Definitely. I see the similarities, like when people say he's like a baby Isak. Now you've got a young version of Isak, and he's fitter and he's raring to go. He has that spring, and it's going to be interesting to see handle that dynamic. But yeah, I made the wise choice of keeping him in my FPL and not putting Isak. I was very happy he scored.
Well done to me. I'm going to move to Arsenal. Arsenal got a late equalizer in the 92nd minute to salvage, depending how you want to describe it, a draw against City at home. I suppose I'll kick off with my thoughts as the resident Arsenal fan. Arteta made a mistake with the lineup. All the Arsenal fans have acknowledged it. You don't make 2 subs at halftime unless, as a manager, you're saying my starting lineup wasn't quite right. It's not working. I don't think that has any impact on the goal. I think the goal is just poor decision-making by several people at the same time. And a lot of games between the best teams in the Premier League are becoming like this, where 2 teams turn up with no intention of allowing individual brilliance. It's complete system versus system. And if the only way a goal happens is if a couple of individuals make a mistake at the same time and it drags a shape in the wrong direction. So Gabriel comes into midfield to win the ball, sticking close to Haaland, and then Calafiori does the same thing. He's high up the field, meaning when it bobbles out and Haaland runs past Gabriel, there is no one other than Saliba and Timber to defend the move. And Saliba does a basic error. You don't defend the space when Haaland is running into the channel next to you. You have to hop into the passing lane between Reinders and Haaland and force Reinders to make the shot. You block off the Haaland option. But he didn't do either. He just stands there and comes backwards. I don't know if he thought Gabriel was going to make it. Gabriel did not. If he was sprinting through peanut butter. It wasn't great to watch. This is the kind of goal scored in a game of this quality. It's not nice for the neutral. We are a long way from what the games used to be when their big 6 clashed. It used to feel like there was a moment where you'd break the team, either tactically or with your individual quality. Then it was open gates, 3-0s, 3-1s, 4-1s. These days, it feels like very low-scoring games. Almost across the league, there were a lot of 1-1s, 2-1s this weekend. Very few clean sheets, but also not much. There's not much flair going on. And you could see the game got a lot better when he realized that and he brought Eze and Saka on at halftime, and we looked a lot better. My final comment, it's not very impressive from City. What they've accomplished over the last few years under Pep is insane. Like, really insane. And yet, I don't know, if that's the bark, then that's not the bark of a big dog anymore. That's sort of the bark of a medium dog with Pep at the wheel. I don't know. It was a bit, I expected more really of a Pep team. I expected to be scared a lot. And with Haaland, you'd think they'd generate more chances, but he did have one in the second half and he blundered it. Any thoughts on the Arsenal game, guys? I know, Sal, you're usually the most vocal on Arsenal, but Jude or Balin first, I want to offer it to you guys. You got any thoughts on the 1-1?
Yeah, I think it was the term you used, like clinch or salvaged. I think it was more of a salvage, because I do think Arsenal playing on the front foot deserved more from a neutral perspective. It could have been more entertaining. The entertaining aspect was that there was a last minute equalizer or a late equalizer. But I think in terms of like Pep kind of adjusting the way he sets up, maybe one of the things is that he's still getting used to the new players, doesn't know if they can do a job the way he wants it to do. So for now, let's take the lead and sit back and try to Jose Mourinho this. Maybe it's still early doors with all the players that he has trying to integrate. But yeah, I do think Arsenal deserved more from the game, just the way Arteta kind of played his game.
I'm going to defend City on this one. They played on Thursday. Pep's lacking a lot of his top players. Cherki, Marmoush. Those are some of your big signings and players you want to integrate into a squad like this, particularly against a team like Arsenal. I saw there's a lot about Arsenal celebrating that equalizer at home. 1-1, sure, look, it's a big team. It's one of those big games. You get a result, you're happy. But I think at home, man, Arsenal, you should really just be pushing to get it over the line.
Come on, Balin, that's hard.
You're going to go to it Etihad.
No, listen, Tim expected me to go. I agree with everything you're saying about City. I agree. But let's not, dude, you're playing against your main title. Okay, besides Liverpool, one of your main title rivals, your number one rival for the past few years, against the manager who has dominated English football, the Sir Alex Ferguson of this era. A game of that magnitude, if you get a last-minute winner, celebrate the goal, bro. I understand what you're saying.
Arsenal finished second and content with that.
No.
Why are we justifying mediocrity? Why? I don't understand. In a win-now position, you have a big game against, like you're saying, one of your top rivals at the Etihad, and then you go draw 1-1 and you're going to celebrate that. Arsenal, you're 5 points behind Liverpool. It's early days, but that 5 can quite easily turn into 8. These are the games that Arsenal have to win if they're serious about winning. You had returning players. You had Eze on the bench.
No.
Martinelli. And you had a returning Saka. Saka also second.
Saka just came on. Saka played his first 45 minutes. Not defending Arsenal. But the thing is, if you're playing football, okay, you're back now. Listen, let's now calm down. Your internet even told you, let's relax. Listen, you're a football player. You've played football. You play football. Yeah. Right? When you play against your arch nemesis, right? You Arsenal, you've had fights with Haaland who have told you to be humble, do this and that. Pep versus Arteta. It's insane. You salvage a game in the last minute of the game. Number one, a last minute equalizer is worth celebrating. Number two, they were on the front foot. They worked very hard in that game. They fought for a win. Cool, the chances didn't fall in the manner that they would have liked. They conceded a goal to, like Tim is saying, a lapse in concentration. When you're fighting for something and you get that, it's a relief. Celebrations aren't always, this is so much joy. Sometimes celebrations are a relief. I agree with you that City were undermanned. They weren't their full-on squad. And I agree we shouldn't be harsh. But at the end of the day, if City go and win that game, in your eyes, Arsenal flopped.
100%.
If Arsenal win the game, what are Arsenal?
Arsenal are real title contenders. You don't get a trophy for being on the front foot. There's no trophy at the end of the season that says front foot.
You five games into the season. 3 of those games you played Liverpool, United, and Arsenal.
And this is the thing, right? Think of the magnitude of those games. If you're a real title contender and you manage to win, we can start to look at you like, okay, you know what?
In your eyes, by your logic, in your eyes, Liverpool are the only title contenders in the league. Then
they're gonna start running away with it soon, dude.
I agree.
Yeah, but now those 5 points this early in the season is a big gap. We have to
Now let's use your logic against you. You are saying that you're saying it's harsh on City. What Tim is saying, right? Because they were undermanned, right? Arsenal played Saka for the first time in I don't know how many games he's been out. He comes on for 45 minutes, right? Nani even got injured, who was the star player in the first half, right? So you defend City, but you hard on Arsenal. You're saying Liverpool are running away with it. So all the other teams are flops. Anyway, so let's let him record. You tell us what you think.
I've had my say.
I don't know. Because
Nothing to say, but I just want to tell all
been
them.
so long.
If you were listening to this podcast, go watch it on YouTube.
you know what, Balin, I do hear you, but you don't have to be harsh. Don't be harsh.
Okay,
Because your premise for this was they celebrated at last minute.
I just think when you're in the position, then guys, let me shine a bit of a light on them. They've been solid title contenders for the past 5 or so years. I don't know, 4 years or whatever. But my chat is that, and it's something that I said before, something's got to give, bro. We can't keep, and even as a United fan, not an Arsenal supporter, we can't keep finding ways to justify Arsenal not winning the league. You know, if United or any other team were in a position where for 4 seasons in a row, we were challenging for the title and never won in any of those seasons, would you still be speaking as likely as we are about Arsenal now?
Question about what you do in the sense of, okay, so
Play
we
as
no. Oh, wait. I'm not saying about a specific match. You're talking about 4 years.
Yeah.
What's the solution? You don't fire a manager for competing in the biggest trophies and getting close. Look at the risk. Look at what's happened at Man United, at Spurs when they got appointments wrong, when Chelsea have gone dropped and then come back up when they got the right appointment. There isn't much you can do here, but believe that the causes of why you came up a little short over the last few years, injuries being 2 of the 3, and the third one being potentially the wrong personnel and tactics buckling under the weight of expectation. But 2 of those 3 have been solved with squad depth, which is why we could play against City with Saka out. And he looked brilliant, our most dangerous player. We got to be careful with reading too much into celebrations. Remember the crazy celebrations when they equalized in our last game last season after the Lewis Skelly thing? And we had 10 men. They celebrated like it was a victory, and it was an equalizer against 10 men. We'd been 10 men for 70 minutes in that game. People will celebrate. People will celebrate when it's a big moment.
Can I ask one question? Boylan,
it's got to be quick though, Sal, because we've been on this way too long and it's 40 minutes in.
let me make it a statement, right? And I hate that I'm defending Arsenal here. This is the problem with Boylan's, what it does to me. What I'm saying is a last-minute equalizer against Man City to draw is 3 points. It's 3 points because they're knocking 2 off City and taking 1 for themselves. That goal is worth 3 points. When fighting title rivals, last-minute goal, you will see that 1 point can win a league. It can win a league. The only reason why you're saying it can't is because you're looking at Siobhan's team running away with it. Take them out.
It applies by 1 point as well.
If you look at Liverpool, then everybody's flopping. Everyone is flopping. Man City,
There's a reason we have home and away games in the Premier League. You need to capitalize when you're in your fortress, when you at the Emirates Stadium, you have to make that support count. The crowd becomes the top man. If you contend with a draw at home ground, right? The likelihood, and I think this is how most football supporters think, the likelihood of you going to now the Etihad and getting a result there isn't as high as it would obviously at the Emirates. So when you have the opportunity at your home ground to capitalize on opportunities with the City that's weak, with Pep playing cautious, you need to take advantage of. You'll go to the Etihad, you'll have Cherki flying, Mamouche flying, Rodri feeling fit, Kusanov and Cole and Aitnour and everybody back. And then what are you going to say? You must learn to kick a dog when it's on. Overly critical.
3 players. You could argue in that period, you've got Odegaard back, Saka cooking, and Kai as they settled. We'll see. I think as a final comment on the title race, if you filter for the next 8 game weeks across the Premier League for FPL according to its rating of fixtures by difficulty. The team with the easiest fixtures over the next 8 game weeks, Arsenal, followed by Bournemouth and Chelsea. The teams with the hardest games, Palace, Forest, Newcastle, and Liverpool. For the next 8 game weeks, Liverpool have to play Palace away, Chelsea away, Man United at home, Aston Villa at home, City away, Forest at home. That's pretty difficult.
Madrid for Champions League and 2 away games.
Just to make it a bit trickier. And we've got West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace at home, Burnley, Sunderland, Spurs at home, and then Chelsea away. 5 points is a lot. Football is funny. 1 loss for Liverpool, 1 win for City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and a few others, and it looks different. Chelsea, Man United. I want to see that level of debate about your own team. I guess you guys are having a good weekend. I'm guessing you're having a good week, Sal. Like, it's not very often we have this podcast, and you're off the back of a victory. 3 points under Amorim. How does it feel?
I expect it to be Chelsea because it's just the way things go, man. Like, as traction starts gaining with regards to how Amorim needs to leave, or the rumors start coming out that, oh, the club is considering alternatives and stuff, it's always going to flip around, right? It's always. Also, our record against Chelsea is quite good at home. Chelsea and United, and you see now, Barlin and I can agree, it's always been our favorite fixture, right? There's always been something cool about seeing blue and red shirts on the pitch. I love playing Chelsea, and when Jude doesn't speak, it's fun. So when he's quiet, I enjoyed the game. I think we were very good in the first half. I was upset that Sanchez got sent off because I feel like I wanted to beat them fair. 11v11, no excuses. I wanted Palmer, Eto, all the good players on the pitch. There's always that thing. I went to work and one of my colleagues who's a Chelsea fan, you guys got lucky. I don't want to deal with that. I was happy with the way we played, but there's like finer details, like beyond Amorim, the players. Bruno, man. I promise you, I swear, I try with Bruno.
I blame Bruno for Ahmad not winning the Ballon d'Or.
Honestly, it's tonight. Ahmad could have won it, could have sealed the deal last night. There was a bond, we were talking about it during the game. He gives Sesko the ball on the right, but there's a gap through the center to play Ahmad in, and he's got a 1v1 chance. And it's things like that. I've never rated Bruno so highly. Over the past couple of years, I've started to respect him. He's a good leader, brings a certain mentality to the team. But as a player, the brains, the IQ, the decision making, seeing that pass, having that vision, head on a swivel. I don't see that with Bruno. Bruno is the first thing you see is not supposed to be what you see when you get the ball. You're supposed to see it before. You're supposed to know you've got the ball in the pocket and Sesko's here, Ahmad is there. For example, it really frustrates me. We won the game. I'm very impressed. I really think, and it's a hot take, I feel like when we get rid of Bruno, we'll move forward. You guys know what I've said about Bruno. We're very reliant on him. He's got a lot on his shoulders. But I'd rather see Cunha in that position. Really, I'll put Cunha in the 10. I like Mason Mount a lot. And there's a little bit of technical ability he has that I don't see in Bruno. A lot of casual fans will think I'm crazy. But you see it that way. I wish we took the money for Bruno in the summer. We could have moved on and our rebuild starts there. Bruno is a symbol of an era that has been poor. He has been the superstar of an era that's been poor. And that is part of the rebuild that I just think we need to change. The player frustrates me. I respect him for what he's done. Statistically, he's been incredible. There are games where I enjoy his passion, his energy. But everything I enjoy about Bruno has nothing to do with the type of player he is. When he scores a goal and he celebrates with the team and he goes to Stratford End and he's like, in it, he's involved. Like that, I like that mentality, that passion. But as a footballer, I've never liked the guy. So he frustrates me. Mbumo, I thought was great. I think he's a fantastic player. He's fast becoming one of my favorite players. Sesko needs to get a lot more service, definitely. Casemiro needs to see a psychiatrist. We need another midfielder. We need that by signing in Shan. I love De Ligt. I'm so happy with De Ligt. There are still days where I still remember De Ligt in 2019. right? When he was at Ajax and the whole world was going crazy, and then he went to Juventus like a tourist. But when I look at the Ligt in a Man United shirt, I still see him as that player. And I know Tim thinks he's a Dutch Maguire, but every time I look at the Ligt, I still see that player from 2019. It's one of those feelings where I'm like, we really have the Ligt in our team. I still have so much faith in the guy. I think he's been very impressive. I know I've only spoken about United. Chelsea, Jude, you'll give us some info on that one.
Where do I start? Benches, bro. What are you doing? So early in the game, I let him score. We have 11 players. You don't get sent off. Let him score. Let's see how the game progresses. I think he ruined a spectacle. Before he got sent off, Man United looked strong. I think they were going to score anyway. It was about Chelsea coming back into it and trying to grow. He gets sent off. The substitutions. This is the worst managerial performance Enzo Maresca has had, in my opinion. The panic in the panic that he had coming off for Jorgensen makes sense. A minute later, Pedro Neto. Why are you taking Pedro Neto off? He's one of our quickest players. And when you're down to 10 men, you're going to want to look to play on the counter. And you need speed, right?
Yeah.
João Pedro's he's not that guy. He's not quick. He's not as quick as Pedro Neto. So that didn't make sense. Cole Palmer, I think that was an injury. It's just unfortunate.
Apparently, he might have surgery. Saw that on Saturday.
As a manager, why isn't he your sacrifice? It makes no sense. The second half substitutions were shit, by the way. Second half, Man United are also now down to 10 men. That's let's take our chance here. The numbers are equal. Give them a game. Could you bring on a defender and Tyreek George? No disrespect to Tyreek George, still a young player, but he's not that guy to change the game for you. Garnacho is sitting there on the bench being booed while he warms up. Surely he has the motivation to score against his old team. Surely. Why are you leaving him on the bench? Anyway, that game frustrated me so hard because once Casemiro gets the second yellow card, my first thought is we have a chance. We're 2-0 down, but we have a chance. Not with the substitutions that were made. And that is me. Thank you. Rant over.
Marlon, do you have enough internet to offer thoughts on this? Do you have enough kilobytes per second?
Let's put it to the test. But you know, of all the talk of the system and everything surrounding Amorim and United, some of it comes down to the players, man. And Casemiro being one of them, man. You go put in a performance like that, and then you just decide, like he was playing well. Kudos to him. That first half, he was doing well, getting around the pitch, making those runs into the box, and obviously the goal. But then just relax. Just relax. That's all you have to do is relax. Things are going well. Don't screw it up. And then you decide, no, I'm going to go piggyback on, I can't even remember who the player was. And you ruin that, man. I would have been
Andre Santos.
It's Andre Santos.
No.
Good. I agree.
Short and sweet.
He's going to come back, Karen talking.
53 minutes in, I think we just keep moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have enough internet. So there's your answer. But yeah, all in all, I think there's bigger issues than just our system, man. It's personnel. It's personnel. You can see it with the likes of Casemiro, with Sesko, he likes service. If you're going to get a guy that's 6'5", put the ball in the air in front of him.
Let's go 6'5". We have Tosin on the bench. He's starting on the bench. Why is he starting on the bench? He's our tallest player. Mark him was now I'm done.
Instead, bring on Wesley Fofana into the lineup, the shortest centre-back after Lissandro in the league. Von, do you have a take on Chelsea United?
I feel sorry for Chelsea because the team deserves better, the players, versus what the manager did. Chelsea play better than this. It's not. And I put it all down to Enzo and his decisions. I think I agree with Jude. He made a bad managerial decision. The moment that red card happened, he went 2013. Instead of us getting thumped and embarrassed, let's just try and keep it to 1 goal down or 2 goals down. Let's not get hammered 8 or 9 goals. United can come up with those weird wins. I feel like that's what he did. And instead of plugging the hole, he was like, everyone get on lifeboats and go and let the ship sink. That's the impression I got. But I do think United tasted blood and ran for it. Big ups to them for doing it because they saw Chelsea panicked. They saw Chelsea sinking. And were like, let's go. Yeah.
It's not a great day for Chelsea for many reasons. Hearing your passion, Jude, I sense the frustration because I feel like Arsenal fans are probably feeling kind of what you're feeling, but probably in a slightly less intense feeling of like high expectations walking into the season and sort of watching Liverpool jog into the sunset, and we're sort of falling behind a bit. And in some respects, it feels self-inflicted to different degrees. And I'm sure I can sense you're more frustrated probably because of this. Can I just ask, Jude, one more for you? What are you going to do with the goalkeeper between now and January, given that the typical solution for Chelsea is a new signing? Like, what are you like?
I think the reason we didn't get a keeper this transfer window is there's a young keeper on the books. He's currently on loan at Strasbourg, and he is apparently the heir to Between the Sticks. I guess we have to stick it out with Bob or Philippe Jorgensen, who doesn't know how to use his hands when the ball is up in the air. But it is one of the things that is so frustrating about this new ownership in terms of personnel. Attacking wise and midfield wise, I think they got it spot on. But in the defense and the goalkeeping department, there's a lot of misses, and they haven't corrected their misses. And I guess the team pays the price for that, because if you have a leaky defense, like you can't play for big trophies. The Club World Cup win seems like a mirage, a distraction. Yes, we can beat PSG in a one-off game. How do we perform in the league? How do we make it consistent? You can't make it consistent with the personnel we have in defense and in between the sticks. Stick it out until Jan and see what the ownership decides, to answer your question.
No one else in the chat.
Balin, you've got internet for 15 seconds. Can you give us your take on this game and we see if it works?
I feel like outside of system, our biggest problem as United is personnel. The likes of Casemiro can be good for 45 minutes, but can't sustain it throughout a 90. And then you don't have a bench that really can come on and do much as well. I think it's only Kobe and Xerxes that can come in and make some sort of a change.
While his internet recovers, congratulations, Man United. You guys smelled blood and you took advantage. Well done. You deserved the win, honestly.
GG's.
Personnel done.
End of story.
That's a good take. Thank you, Balin. And personally, that's enough on that game. Running through the rest of the results, there were some big wins, not maybe in scoreline, but in symbolism for what a victory meant, or a draw. So I think Sunderland against Villa did wonderfully to get a point when they had 10 men for so long. Suggestions that Villa are rubbish. Fulham 3-1 against Brentford, as we mentioned. Leeds 3-1 against Wolves. Palace extending their run of unbeaten form. Brighton coming back against Spurs. A good victory there against the Big Six for Brighton and their German manager. And then Burnley. I thought it was maybe more of a sign that Forest are just not very good this season. But again, coming up against what was a top 8 clubs consistently last season and getting a victory. Let's move to Game of the Week and wrap it up. I'm going to drop a country and 2 clubs. I say Spain, Atletico Madrid, Liverpool.
Fernando Torres.
Wow.
That wasn't what I was thinking. I was thinking Suarez.
No, Suarez is Uruguayan.
But he played in Spain.
No, but it's nationality.
The moment you said Spain, I had Fernando Torres in my head.
Vaughn, we love it. Catching up.
Finally.
Well done.
This was your time to catch Linz, but you threw it away. Thank you for listening to the Pat and Play podcast. Vaughn, Balin, Jude, Sal, thank you for joining. As always, Balin for about 13 minutes of the hour, to the rest of you for the full hour. Balin, you'll probably be seeing that this podcast is over at about midnight. Thanks again. We will be recording as usual on Thursday night. If you have any questions, send those through on social media or our WhatsApp community. And for the FPL leader, I think it's Shorkasi. He or she is doing very well, not just in our league, but worldwide. Probably top 50,000 in the world, or maybe better. Shout out to you for smashing it. To everyone else, more like me, I don't know about you guys, but what am I sitting on this week?
Devin. Triple captain Cole Palmer.
Why would you do that? That was so silly.
Also, triple captain Sanchez.
We got -9.
That's
Dick.
I think on social media today.
No, if you'd got -9, Judy, and you'd actually triple captained Sanchez, you would still have got more points than me. I'm on 30 for this game week, having captained Isak. Neto was in my team. Van de Ven, Gabriel, and Mbuma. Wonderful team there. And see you on the next episode.